Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The teacher's secret. The first thing I saw was the corner of an envelope peeking out from beneath a stack of graded papers. A delicate blue edge. A sliver of handwriting. Something inside me tightened. I reached for it without thinking, and when I unfolded the letter, the world seemed to tilt under my feet. It was Mila's handwriting. My wife of 22 years. Soft curves, familiar loops. But the words were meant for someone else. I miss the way you look at me when no one else is around. Yesterday felt like a dream. My fingertips went numb. I flipped the paper, hoping desperately that the name I feared would not be there. But there it was, unmistakably signed in firm, confident strokes. The principal. My breath stuttered. My vision blurred. The quiet classroom around me suddenly felt too loud, the ticking clock hammering inside my skull. Her classroom had always felt warm and safe. Now it felt like the crime scene of a truth I never wanted to uncover. I searched through the stack with trembling hands. More envelopes. More letters. Some recent. Some months old. Every one of them filled with tenderness, longing, and secrets. My chest tightened until the pain throbbed in my teeth. 2 days ago she had kissed me goodbye. 2 days ago she had told me she loved me. 2 days ago she had written him. The door creaked behind me. Mila walked in, humming faintly, her hands full of fresh worksheets. The moment her eyes landed on the letters scattered across her desk, her entire body froze. Her breath caught. The papers slipped from her fingers. Why? My voice was barely sound. She didn't move, didn't blink. For a long, suffocating moment, she looked like she might faint. Then she sank slowly into the nearest chair. I never meant for you to see those, she whispered. That sentence broke something in me. Not the betrayal, not the lies, but the quiet acceptance that there was no misunderstanding. No explanation that would save us. Are you in love with him? I asked, though I dreaded the answer. She shook her head, then nodded, then shook it again. Fingers tangled in her hair as if she could pull the truth out by force. I don't know, she said softly. I don't know what I feel. It just happened. I thought it would stop. I tried. Every word she spoke made my stomach churn. She wasn't lying. I knew her voice, her eyes, her guilt. She meant every disjointed confession. And that made it worse. I stood so abruptly that my chair scraped across the floor. I couldn't sit in that room any longer. I couldn't breathe around the ghosts of their letters. When I stepped into the hallway, the distant murmur of staff voices drifted from the lounge. I walked toward it like I was pulled by an invisible thread, my heart thudding painfully inside my chest. The principal stood inside, pouring coffee, smiling politely as he spoke with another teacher. When he saw me, his smile faltered. I placed a single letter on the table between us. His eyes flicked to the handwriting. His shoulders stiffened. You weren't supposed to find out this way, he murmured. The same words she had said. The same quiet admission that my marriage had been shared, split, invaded. Did you love her? I asked. He exhaled slowly, ashamed. I cared for her, more than I should have. There was no shouting, no violence, just a cold, hollow ache that settled in my bones as I walked away. When I returned home hours later, Mila sat on the couch, her makeup smeared, her wedding ring resting in her palms like a wounded thing. I will fix this, she said through tears. I'll quit. I'll change. I'll do anything. I stood in front of her, exhausted, heartbroken, unsure whether to fall apart or hold myself together by force. I believe you, I said quietly, but believing you doesn't erase what happened. Her tears spilled over. Mine stayed trapped behind a wall of shock and survival. I sat beside her, not touching, not deciding, just existing in the painful space between love and betrayal, marriage and destruction, truth and denial. I didn't know what our future held. I didn't know if we would survive this or collapse beneath the weight of what she had done. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty. Nothing would ever be the same again. And the cruelest part was that the love between us still existed, fragile and wounded, forcing us to live with the knowledge that sometimes love isn't destroyed by hatred but by choices that cannot be undone.